Hello and welcome to Chaotic Insights, where today we will be breaking down everything you need to know about Chaotic. If you're just getting into it, if you want a little reminder, here are all the things you need to know. So let's start with the real world. So Chaotic was a popular trading card game and TV show that aired from 2006 to 2010. It was unique because each card was unique. Each card had an individualized code, and each creature had stats unique to that printed card. These codes could be uploaded to chaoticgame.com for online play, which differentiated Chaotic by integrating the in-person and online experience at that time. It also had a TV show, and I remember watching the TV show on Jetix, but it could also be seen on channels like Cartoon Network or CW4 Kids during its run. The concept of the show was that if you were a good player on chaoticgame.com, you would get a code that would transport you to Chaotic. And so the TV show follows Tom Majors as he gets his code and transports to Chaotic and learns about this new world. At Chaotic, he meets Peyton, Sarah, and teams up with his best friend Kaz as they compete in chaotic games and go on adventures. How to get into the world of Chaotic. Every character in this world has a scanner that they use to transport their consciousness to Chaotic. In the real world, the scanner locks while they're at Chaotic and unlocks when they transport home. Now, it's important that there's still a version of each player on Earth who lives a life and makes memories while the Chaotic version of them does the same thing at Chaotic. So nobody notices that they're gone or missing, but when the Chaotic version of you transports home, the real version of you gains access to those memories of the adventures that you had in Chaotic. But during that time, the Chaotic version of them has access to their online deck so that they can play Chaotic matches, and the real version of you gets locked out of your scanner. At Chaotic, you can chill in the port court, eat food, trade cards, research old matches, watch current matches, or go to the Battledromes to play a Chaotic match. The catch? These matches are more than just the trading card game. In the dromes, the players transform into the creatures from the game and brawl using attacks, creatures, battle gear, and music from the game, at locations from the game. So there are different card types to know. You have creatures, you have attacks, you have battle gear, music, and locations. Creatures are the warriors that you transform into. Battle gear is the weaponry that you use. Locations entail the different locale or battle arenas that you can pick, and music is a combination of music and magic. So they are like spells that you can cast on each creature. And attacks, of course, are how you fight in the battle. Typically, battles are 6 creatures versus 6 creatures, each equipped with the battle gear, and each team can pick 6 music to use throughout. So winning in the Battledrome means you've defeated your opponent's 6 creatures in battle. Each Battledrome has a codemaster. At Chaotic, they have 7 different Battledromes that you can compete in, and once you have 7 wins in that drome, you're allowed to challenge the codemaster, who typically referees the drome. 7 is really the magic number in Chaotic, so keep an eye on that. Codemasters are highly skilled players with often impressive, unique, or rare cards, and the prize for beating a Codemaster is a gift of one of their cards, typically a location. Codemaster matches are like the Super Bowl of Chaotic. Codemasters, there are 7 Codemasters, as there are 7 Battledromes: Krellin, Hotek, Amzin, Orin, Tyresis, Imthor, and Churl. Now, you notice the first letter of each of their names spell out Chaotic. Kind of fun! But if you aren't feeling ultra competitive, you can check out the Betadrome, a place to have casual battles with your friends, explore locations, try out new cards or strategies, or play games that don't align with the rigid rules of the Battledromes. Now, there's a whole other layer to Chaotic as well. From the port court, you can transport your code to Perim, a place where the creatures actually live and exist. In Perim, you can use your scanner to scan new creatures, battle gear, location, and music, and add them to your deck. The catch is you can only scan one type of each card in your scanner before you have to port back to the port court and upload them into your online deck. The other catch, if you die in Perim, you can never port back to Chaotic to play more matches, and subsequently, you can never port to the real world again to restore your memories of your final adventures. So really, we have 3 levels here. You have the real world, you have Chaotic, and you have Perim. So to recap, if you're a Chaotic player in the real world who gets good at the online game, you get your code to enter into your scanner and it transports you to Chaotic. In Chaotic, you can play matches in the dromes where you transform into the creatures and brawl, or you can transport to Perim, and Perim is a place where chaotic creatures live, like a scavenger hunt. You can go around Perim looking for creatures, battle gear, music, or locations to scan in order to add to your online collection, and therefore use those scans in the Battledromes. Then when you are done with your adventure, you can transport your code back to the real world, and the real version of yourself gains the memories of your adventure. So that's it, or at least that's part of it. That's the setup. Because we learn things throughout the show of the creatures who live in Perim. They live their own lives, they have their own conflicts. Initially, there are 4 tribes in Perim, and each nation has a different set of creatures, a different set of values, and different political structures. These 4 tribes are at constant odds with each other as they try to coexist and overcome each other. These tribes are Overworld, Underworld, Mipedian, and Danian tribes. Then in Season 2, there's revealed to be a 5th tribe, the Mipedians. So let's start with the Overworld. This is Tom's favorite tribe. They live above ground with many creatures living in Kiru City, which is likely the capital. Noteworthy overworlders include Maxor, the leader of the overworld, Nadrin, his advisor and high muge, Intris, a warrior and friend to Maxor, Bodil, who runs the overworld arsenal, and is also a known blabbermouth to give secrets to our chaotic players. Then there's Momark, who is a Dr. Frankenstein type who creates creatures in his Vivatorium, and then Tangoth Toborn, a warrior who steps up during the Marillion invasion. The Overworlders generally believe in teamwork and trying to make peace as their main way to gain power. That contrasts with the Underworld. The Underworlders, on the other hand, are Kaz's favorite tribe. They live underground, with the capital being Underworld City. They are generally individualistic and are more aggressive in their attempts to gain power. Notable Underworlders includes Kaor, the fiercest warrior and leader in the Underworld, Agitos, who's Kaor's advisor, Takinam, another one of Kaor's advisors and a warrior, Hearing, an Underworld spy and friend to Kaz. He helps Kaz get cool Underworld scans in exchange for nasty treats. Almar, an Underworld inventor who creates new battle gear for Kaor, and Kaiban, who similarly forges new battle gear for Kaor. The thing is, the Underworld also has political unrest, and so the Underworld is divided. Lord Von Blue, who is a high-up member in the Underworld government, also wants to rule the Underworld for himself. So he lives in Gothos Tower, and he has advisors for himself. Scythia, Krek, and then Atropol leads his army. So because the Underworlders live underground, they frequently rely on raiding other tribes for resources and are aggressive in the way that they try to gain power in Perim. Our next tribe is the Mipedians. This is Peyton's favorite tribe. They are lizard-like creatures with the power of invisibility, and they live above ground in the Mipedum Desert. Notable Mipedians are Prince Mudinu, the leader of the Mipedians, Sobject, the Mipedian Muge, and that's really it. We meet more Mipedians in the show, but those are really the noteworthy ones. They try to gain power through deception. They have the power of invisibility and they use that to their advantage. And they also have creatures like conjurers and war beasts, which are giant and powerful creatures, and they're awesome. Our next tribe is Danians. They are another tribe who live underground. And Danians are this bug-like tribe who lives in a location called Mount Pillar. It's a structural pillar that helps keep the overworld above and prevents it from crashing down into the underworld below. So the Underworlders and Danians get along enough to not threaten the structural integrity of their environment because they both have locations like Mount Pillar or Iron Pillar that keep the roof up above them. Danians are Sarah's favorite tribe, and notable Danians include Alexia, the Danian queen, who is the ruler of the Danians. You have Odu Bathax, a warrior and a leader in the hive, and Wama, a silly Danian who is friends with Sarah, and she helped him once, and now he helps her get good Danian scans. The Danians try to gain power through influence, and whether that's brainwashing technology or infecting you with a biological parasite that transforms you into a Danian, they have their ways. Our fifth tribe is Marillians. They are introduced in Season 2 when Velfor is found frozen in ice, and they live behind the doors of the deep mine, and they thrive in water. They try to take over Perim with their mind control abilities and with their attempt to flood Perim. Notable Marillians include Velfor, who frees the Marillians by opening the doors of the deep mines. You have Milaine, a Marillian chieftain, who leads destruction in the underworld, and then you have Ani, the leader of the Marillians. The Marillians try to gain power through Perim through their ability to brainwash others, but also through aggressive means and trying to destroy the locations of other tribes. So that's the basics, but what happens in the story? So we have some overarching stories in Chaotic. The first one is about Tom. Tom starts as this fish out of water character who is new at Chaotic, and he picks up battling in the Battledrome, and he loves to use his Maxor card. And then in an attempt to help a character named Reggie, Tom bets his Maxor card on a match, and he loses. So he loses his favorite card, and he hits a slump. Then he meets Codemaster Krellin, who teaches him a lesson about it's not the cards, it's the player. It's not what cards you have, it's the strategies you use, and that's how you get good at Chaotic. And so eventually he gets a new Maxor scan, but that scan reveals that Maxor is rapidly losing courage because Von Blue cast a Music on him. So Tom helps to restore Maxor's abilities, and he gets a new scan of Maxor. And that leads up to Tom defeating Codemaster Krellin in his Codemaster match, and that cements him as a good player. He went from a fish out of water character to now he is cemented as a good player at Chaotic. His reward was to get a scan of Prexor Chasm, and he goes to Prexor Chasm and he learns of issues there. Tom vows to help, and then he meets up with a location caretaker and they devise a solution to help the creatures in Prexor Chasm. The next overarching story we have is in Season 2. We have the Marillion invasion, where Felfor is found frozen in ice and he is brought to Kaor. Felfor tries to convince Kaor to open the doors of the deep mines, but he refuses. So Felfor uses Lord Von Blue as a diversion and does it himself. Opening the doors of the deep mine releases the Marillions who lived behind it, and they cause environmental damage to Perim. For example, they flood the lava pond or they pollute the riverlands, and they attempt to flood Perim by melting glacier plains. On a scan quest with Kaz, Hearing gets brainwashed by Milaine, and Kaz feels responsible and repeatedly tries to save him. Eventually, the underworld gets overthrown, And the Overworlders, Danians, Mipedians, and Underworlders form a tribal alliance, and all four tribes band together to push the Morellians back behind the doors of the Deep Mines. Our next overarching story is in Season 3, which is The Past. So as a reward for defeating Codemaster Hotek, Tom gets a scan of Dranica's Threshold, which is revealed to be a gateway to the past. Tom meets the ancestors of Maxor and Kaor, as well as a young Nadrin, and he participates in their adventures. Until the secret gets out and the past is overrun with humans. Clay and Christella are notable recurring human villains, exchange the information about the portal for exclusivity for the past with Lord Von Blut. So a team made up of various tribes go to stop Von Blut from transporting to the past, and they destroy Dranica's Threshold. So those are the overarching stories that you have at Chaotic. And of course, those are broad strokes, and there's much more plot and much more nuance if you want to watch the actual show. But there's really one last big thing that you need to know as a foundation for your knowledge of Chaotic, and that's the Cothica. In Perim, there's this lore of the Cothica, and there are conflicting legends about the Cothica. One account says the Overworlders had it, and they were all high and mighty on how it should be used. One account says the Underworlders had it, but they were overly greedy. Falfor claims the Marillions had it. But here's the thing, what is it? It's described as the source of energy in Perim, so whoever is in possession of it holds a great deal of power. And therefore, it's the source of all of these tribal feuds. And so all of these tribal feuds stem back to the legend of the Cothica, and it's the reason they're fighting. They're fighting for power. And if this mythical source of power is real, well, we've yet to find out. So that's the basics of everything you need to know about Chaotic. Of course, there's more nuance and detail and depth, and if you want to watch me break down every episode, of course I did that. And if you want more information on the game itself, well, there are ways to find that. But of course, what is really exciting is that we learned that Chaotic is officially getting revived. So if you're looking for updates on the Chaotic revival, I would check out chaoticgame.com. And if you're having trouble describing Chaotic to one of your friends, feel free to send them this video to give them the basics of what they need to know to get into Chaotic.